And he's like, no, fuck that.
Fuck
and he's
that.
like,
I'm not breaking my oath.
Like, you swore loyalty to this ship, like, while you're serving on it. He's like, yeah, I did, but that doesn't mean I'm going to break my oath to Starfleet.
Right.
Like, I will serve on this ship. I will die on this ship, but I'm not going to break that oath. And Cargon's like, that was a test. He's like, that was a test.
I would have killed you.
If you had broken your oath, your loyalty to Starfleet, I would have branded you a traitor and killed you where you stood.
Yep.
And still, like, and Riker, like, straight up, he's like, wait to fire until this point because it'll take too long for them to react.
Like 40,000 kilometers or something like that.
And
then he activates the transponder.
Yes.
But meanwhile, the Enterprise is having the exact same problem where they're the bacteria thing that they picked it up from the Klingons, I think. This thing it's this bacteria that feeds on whatever the hull's made of. And Mindon gets in some trouble because they're like, why didn't you tell us about it? And he was like, I was trying to work it out by myself. And they're like, you don't fucking work shit out by yourself. You tell us when something's eating the ship.
Well,
and Wesley gives him a pep talk. He's like, look, you were doing the right thing. You just messed up on protocols.
And it's going to happen. Like, Picard expects it to happen.
He doesn't like it, but it's part of being,
an ensign.
Right.
And he had tried to impress Picard with, like, he's like, I can streamline this whole thing. And he's like, dude, like, we follow
chain of command. He keeps stepping over Worf, and Worf is
and he's like, I just wanted to impress you. And he's like, whatever. And then Worf comes by, he's like, you should try to impress me. Like, Michael Dorn is, like, the best. Like he's just awesome.
He has a very great delivery. I think he's the most like Nimoy in terms of having that very dry delivery.
Yes, absolutely. And so Riker and Cargon like scuffle. Mm-hmm. He takes a
he's like, what is this?
Yeah, he's like, it's a weapon and uses it. And he all of a sudden he's on the Enterprise bridge and Worf's like, freeze. And so Riker
becomes captain and demands that the Enterprise surrender. And Picard realized, like, oh, what? He's like, okay.
He's like, we surrender. And so
they fix the ship.
They fix both ships. Cargon's returned to his ship.
Right.
Riker realizing that he straight up like made this fool look like clown shoes. He has to
take a fall.
Yeah. He has to let himself Cargon
be bested.
Assert his dominance again. So he gets fucking cold claw, like jaw jacked.
Right. He growls at him to show that he's like, you will return to your station. Yeah. Riker like growls and Cargon, is that his name? Cargon.
Cargon. Yeah.
Yeah. Just punches the shit out of him.
Yeah. Fucking jaw jacks him, and then Clag is like, it's like, dude, you obviously know more about Klingons than I gave you credit for.
Yeah.
And Riker had a great line afterwards where
what does he say?
Picard says, like, I guess you didn't know when to duck. And he's like, I knew when not to duck.
That's right.
But that was really cool look into, like, the way Klingons act. I don't like it, but...
I don't like the way they act, but I love that we got to see more of it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the most time we've actually spent with Klingon culture so far, including, Undiscovered Country, because you saw a little bit, but you didn't really see the Klingons in their natural habitat, like the way... Excuse me.
Stop
the way you did in this episode. But
stop it.
This was a really good one. This, in an otherwise okay week, this was a really good episode.
Next week, we've got The Measure of a Man.
Sounds sexy.
Which, actually, I heard that this is like one of the best episodes of the series.
Yes.
I think, if I'm correct. The Dolphin.
Uh-huh.
Contagion.
I wonder what that could be about.
And The Royale. I like that.
Those are some good titles. I'm more excited about this than I am by a title like Loud as a Whisper or Schizoid Man.
Schizoid Man!
Yeah, that... First of all, is the word schizoid insulting? Like,
I think it is.
Schizophrenic would be the right word, right?
Schizophrenic Man.
Yeah, that's a better title.
Like schizoid. It's more...
scientific.
It's more polite. Kid Kraddick died. That's fucking bananas. This show
gone too soon.
is dedicated to the memory of Kid Kraddick.
Of Child Kraddick. Child Lawrence Kraddick. No, it's a bummer.
For sure.
He was
a solid dude.
Yeah, and a lot of people, myself included, really enjoyed. I mean, I hadn't listened to him recently, but when I was a kid, I listened to him a lot.
He was still pretty funny.
So rest in peace. Gone too soon.
Any closing thoughts?
No. I got nothing. We're both, I think, a little fried. We've both been running after toddlers all day. So
Yeah, I've been up since 7. Had a poop incident I had to take care of.
My nephew came to visit, and we had a little bit of a poop incident. Probably not like yours. Yours was a little more insane than mine, but
Children, like your own, like children as a whole, like I mean,
just gross.
I mean, there are some people like they don't care, like they don't care, like you're a kid, I will still yell at you and
right.
I'll treat you like you're awful,
right.
Even though you don't know any better.
Yeah, my neighbors are like that.
But I don't like. It's the biggest fucking racket.
Kids?
Yeah, it's like if anyone else had shit in my bed, I would have lost my fucking mind. But you know what I did? I woke up and I was like, "Oh, gross." And
you're disgusting.
And I picked her up. Like I wiped her. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but I mean, it was
enough that there's shit in the bed.
Yeah. And you know, I wiped off like the excess like that was on like her back,
right?
And got her clothes off her, you know, changed her, you know, got the sheets, got everything that needed to be washed off and into the washer and dryer, and that was it. And then you know, as I was throwing that stuff in the washer, I threw on an episode of Yo Gabba Gabba, gave her some milk, and then started making her breakfast. And that was it. That's it.
That was your whole adventure?
I mean, like, had it, like, if it had been you would be hearing about this in 20 years from now.
Yeah, you bring it up every week on the show.
I'd be like, hey, remember that time you shit my bed?
Shouldn't have let me into your bed, bro.
Why are we sleeping together?
Yeah, why are we sleeping together? Answer that question. You're like, doesn't matter. You shit in my bed.
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant. You shit in my bed. Stop changing the goalposts.
You're shifting goalposts at this point.
My nephew came to visit with my sister today, and he'll be 1 like next week, and he's recently mobile, and my apartment's not really baby proof.
No.
At all. Like I tried to do some baby proofing last night. Like I tried to create sort of a corral area. I took all the seating things in my apartment and just set them up so he couldn't get past like that little living room area. He figured out a way to crawl through. So basically, I spent the entire day tailing this kid around. I mean, there was never any real danger, but it's just, he never stops moving. He's just so excited to be alive. I'm like, just watch Wreck-It Ralph, dude.
Jeez, it's so good.
It's so good. Why aren't you crying?
I recently watched Wreck-It Ralph. It's very good.
Yeah, I love that movie. Makes me cry.
Monsters, Inc. should have won instead of Shrek. Best animated movie.
Oh, yeah. That's a fucking travesty.
And Wreck-It Ralph should have beat Brave.
Did Brave win?
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Brave.
Brave wasn't that good.
But I really did enjoy Wreck-It Ralph. It's a lot of fun for people.
Wreck-It Ralph felt like a Pixar movie.
It did.
Like that's the most Pixar movie of animated movie. That's more Pixar than Cars 2 or Brave.
Yeah, or Airplanes, which is coming out, or just Planes, or whatever it is, which comes out next month.
Next month? Is that this year's movie?
No, Monsters University.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They did 2 this year. Well, Planes was supposed to be direct to video, and then they were like, "It's too good, bro."
Right.
Theaters. Yeah. They were more like, "We're gonna make $1 billion."
Yeah.
It's not like doing the voice of this plane.
It's not like Toy Story 2, where it's legitimately too good to not.
Can you imagine if that had been direct to video?
Yeah,
I might have skipped it entirely because I'm like, oh, direct to video. I saw Return of Jafar. You're not fooling me.
I saw Bambi 2. Dicks.
Well, fuck you. But and when I heard it was coming to theaters, I was like, and then I saw it and I was like, it's so good.
I saw Monsters, Inc. this morning with my kid. She does the best Boo impersonation.
She's the perfect age for it.
And
she does the falling asleep part,
yeah,
right?
We watched it, and at the end, I'm crying like an idiot. Like, I can't even stop myself.
You and I both had a very strong reaction to that when we saw it in the theater. I don't think we cried that time, but I think maybe if we hadn't been with each other, we would have.
Well, just like with Pacific Rim, if I had seen that, if I was alone, I would have bawled my eyes out when the little girl was walking through the streets of Tokyo.
I got choked up both times I saw the movie. Like it was a tough. Oh, if you like scary movies, you should go see The Conjuring. I saw that last night.
That's directed by the guy who did
the original Saw.
The original Saw, which was decent,
and Insidious,
which was pretty good.
Which I want to see now that I've seen The Conjuring. I really liked it. Like it was a pretty good movie, and it was pretty scary.
Is it just like jump scares, or
there were some jump scares definitely, but there's just this general sense of unease. And what I liked about the movie is it's almost 2 hours, and it takes its time to set up the house and set up the family, and gradually builds you up to like this. The tension keeps
dread. Yeah,
this dread, and then when shit gets loose, like it really, for me. I mean, I know you've got a higher threshold for that kind of stuff than I do. I mean, there's some definite cheesiness to it, but like in a good way. It felt like a film that could have been made in the 70s or 80s in terms of like it's not really gory. There's almost no blood in it whatsoever.
Which Devin Faraci from Badass Digest wrote an article, 2013, the year PG-13 broke.
Right, about how Wolverine kills dozens of people.
Like runs people through with his adamantium claws. Yeah. That gets a PG-13, while The Conjuring gets an R because it's just really scary.
Yeah, there's almost no language. There's almost no blood. Like, it's a PG-13 movie. It should not be an R except for the fact that it's really spooky.
And it's like, it's a horror movie. Like, it's supposed to be scary.
But that's a perfect movie for, like, a 16-year-old date. Like,
yeah.
That's a great date
Be like, the girl's like, and he's like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a good movie, too. Like, I liked it a lot.
Man, I don't want to sound like an old-timer, but I miss the good old days.
What do you mean?
I kind of miss Blockbuster videos. I just miss, like, video stores. Like, I said I'm gonna watch AI after this, which I don't think I own it. I don't think my roommate owns it.
I have it.
Or you live 20 minutes away. So unless you're gonna
drive there and
drive back,
no.
I'll probably just rent it on Amazon for like $3,
right.
Which I can do that in like 3 minutes and start watching the movie.
Yep.
In another minute. Which is
pretty
awesome.
Amazing, isn't it?
Which is awesome. It's seriously amazing, but at the same time, but if it was between that and
driving to Blockbuster,
I mean,
they'd still be open.
They'd still be open. I don't know. I
don't miss not being able to see a movie because it was all checked out. Like the wall of AI. when you go with your parents, you're like, oh fuck! I hope Mortal Kombat's not all checked out.
Well, we had this conversation a while ago. There was that movie Sharknado.
Yeah.
And we had actually discussed. We talked about. We used to do this thing in high school called Bad Movie Club,
which was awesome.
We would go to Blockbuster and
walk the aisles of the genre sections, horror and sci-fi, essentially,
and try to find what looked to be like the worst movie that we could find.
Right.
Rent it, watch it together, make fun of it,
and then review it,
and then write a review like based on
our notes
or the jokes we had made throughout the viewing, and just whatever else came up. And
so much
it was
fun.
a lot of fun, and then that idea, like that bad movie, like we would watch like 976 Evil 2, Evil Laugh, the Evil Eye,
Class of 1999,
and like these bad movies that are so bad that they're entertaining.
Right.
And we talked in like a week before Sharknado came out. We discussed how like that the idea of the bad movie had become like homogenized, industrialized, and commercialized. And, like people make bad movies now to be like
on purpose, and
then a week later Sharknado shows up and everyone's like, it's so awful, Tara Reid is so bad and it's so cool, and I'm like, and what's crazy, Lena Dunham, creator of Girls, tweeted, she's like, my lack of irony will keep me from ever appreciating Sharknado.
Interesting.
And I was like, for sure, like it's like I want something genuine.
Right.
Even
if it's bad.
Like, I want people like.
I want you trying your hardest.
Exactly.
Even if it's bad.
Exactly. Yeah, like The Room.
The Room is one of the most sincere things I've ever seen, and it's
awful. It's like the worst thing ever, but I love it.
But that's like lightning in a bottle, right? Like a truly great bad movie can't be engineered any more than a truly great blockbuster.
Yeah, exactly. like so many, like, you know, when